G'day, Spice Legends. Welcome to a very special Burnin Bites Down Under here at Mr. Chilli. That's right, we're doing a Burnin Bites Mr. Chilli crossover event here. Very special. So, Chilli Philly here. We are interviewing, as you can probably see from the little graphic there, we're interviewing Jason ROEBIG. Some of you guys might already know Jason ROEBIG from the Chilli world. For his honey and chili shenanigans. Jason has just recently acquired an extra kind of role or title, you might say, not just in the chili world, but also in the honey world. So he's obviously making some waves, making some moves up there and really working his way up there. So Spice Legends and obviously honey fanatics, guys, welcome to the Jason ROEBIG interview. We're going to get old Jason ROEBIG in here now. So let's get old Jason here. Hey, buddy, how you doing there, mate?
Good, mate. Yourself? How you traveling?
Awesome, matey. A bit more chilly down here for Chilli Philly in our city. You're all the way up in Jimboomba in Queensland, mate. Is that right?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we're based in the southern part of Logan there. Yeah, so it's actually gets fairly chilly out here too. Not as chilly as what you are down there at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's cold right now. I'm not going to say it's cold. But it's definitely not Queensland weather. That's for sure, mate. Yeah. So look, for everyone that doesn't sort of know who you are, Jason, look, tell everyone a bit about who you are, what you do, and what it is that we're talking about here, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm one half of Be All Natural. My wife Natasha is the other half. We started keeping bees in about it was 2013. Our daughter was born in 2012, but born with serious eczema. And we were using steroid creams and all sorts of medical grade topical ointments that were more adverse to her than of benefit. So basically her hair started to fall out, her skin would thin, she had bruise at a drop of a hat, massive stomach issues with just using steroids. So we basically started speaking to a naturopath and our GP saying, right, what can we do that can complement the medical topical ointments? And they mentioned Manuka honey. And we went, okay. Went and had a look at the price of Manuka and just about to take out a bank loan to buy it. And look, we started using it. We saw some improvement. And then we started researching it, we started realizing honey has actually, like normal raw honey, has got exceptional health benefits to it. And then I started playing around with some oils, butters, and honey and made a body balm. And we started applying that to our daughter. And within a couple of, I think about 3 to 4 weeks, we started seeing a huge improvement in their skin.
Wow.
We had to use steroids every now and then, but instead of using it every day, we were using it maybe once every 2 to 3 weeks. It's now at a point we haven't used steroid cream for the better part of nearly, I think, 3 or 4 years.
Wow. That's phenomenal, dude. That is amazing. Yeah. And look, I have to sympathize exactly with what you're saying there. I know I'm no stranger to eczema. I was a kid that had eczema and stuff like that as well because I had asthma and things like that. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It's horrific crap. It's a terrible thing to go through. So I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. So I completely understand what you're saying with your daughter, and you need to do something about it. It's not something that's enjoyable at any stage. It's just horrendous. Yeah.
It was soul destroying too, mate, because I was doing a lot of fly in, fly out work, and I come home on my R&R and you know, Tash, you know, she was essentially a single mum raising a kid while I was away. And, you know, I'd tag in for the week that I was home and it was my turn to sort of apply the steroid cream. And Miranda would scream the place down because the steroid cream actually, on her skin was red raw from scratching and from the dry skin. Yeah. And it was soul destroying, man. You come home for a week to spend with your family and you're faced with that. And we said, no, we have to do something. And then, and then,
so that's right, yeah. So you're coming home to enjoy your family, but you're trying to repair the family unit. And it's just, it sounds like a pretty horrifying time.
How my wife did it on her own is beyond me, mate. She's an absolute champion. Like, you know, she did it for nearly 10 years of me flying in, flying out. So wow. And there's contrary to popular belief, mate. Fly in, fly out is not what it's cracked up to be. It's so not.
Yeah, no, I hear something like that. Well, look, let's jump into a bit of a more happier note. Some happier note. Something more fun and sweet. We're talking honey. So, Charles, you got a few products in front of you there, matey. Let's see what you got there hiding.
Let's start with the conventional, what our bread and butter is.
That's right. So Be All Natural honey. There we go.
I'll get used to this camera.
There it is.
So there you
Nice.
go.
Ooh,
So this is our
sexy.
traditional raw bush honey. So it's I suppose the difference with what we do is we don't abuse our honey, abuse our bees, so to speak. We only take what they can afford to give us.
Okay, so elaborate a bit more on that. You say you only take what they can afford to give. How do you judge that? How do you know what that is? Because it's you can't really communicate with the bee. Can you? But
you can.
How do you know?
Yeah.
All right.
So
basically,
basically,
that.
When you open up a hive, you can tell by their hum or their buzz, so to speak, if they're happy, healthy, and then you can also determine on the volume of honey that's in the hive. Sort of 12 to 18 months ago, we looked at our hives and we knew we were in trouble. There was no honey in the hive. The bees were stressed. We were in the middle of a drought. We had what we call a dearth, which means there's no nectar, there's no pollen, and there's no food to support a healthy colony. So we knew straight away we were in trouble. So we didn't take any honey off our hives at all last year. And that was the case for most beekeepers. I think reportedly between 90 and 90% reduction in honey production throughout Australia, not just Queensland, but throughout Australia.
Whoa. When was this? Sorry?
Yeah. Pretty much the last 12 to 18 months has been really bad. We've had 2 really bad years of honey production.
Right.
Look, it's the nature of the part of the world that we live in. We know we have drought in Australia, but it's just been really, really bad.
Yeah, right. Okay. Like Ashley says, you B-man, Jason ROEBIG. You. That's the way.
Ash, how you going, mate?
And he goes, game over. He's game over, lol. That's right. That's the way.
Oh, mate, we killed him. I felt so bad after that video. He was absolutely destroyed.
That was the game over vid that Ash had to do. And how much did he put? I can't remember. How much did he put on there? What was it?
A tablespoon, I think it was.
Oh, I put like bits of like the end of a freaking toothpick and stuff. I couldn't imagine putting a tablespoon, mate. God, Ash, you crazy bastard. So, look, we'll delve into that stuff first, guys, in a bit later on, guys. But let's start with the honey kind of stuff first, and sort of go from there. So, look, what I sort of talked to you about before is we wanted to sort of introduce a few of your products as well. So you just sort of showed us that raw honey. That's the main one.
That's
that
our bread and butter.
Yeah, bread and butter.
That's our bread and butter.
So, like, I want you to introduce us another product that you got there. But while I ask you what you show us about that, I want to ask you, look, other than what you just told us then, what started your beekeeping, like, honey obsession? Like, was it something that happened before your little one there, or was it there another catalyst earlier on?
No, Miranda was certainly our catalyst to get a beehive. Well, we got 2 beehives. It was more just to provide another source of honey, raw honey. We couldn't afford to buy Manuka honey. It's $100 a jar for the stuff that we were looking for. And
how big are the jars for Manuka honey?
400 grams, 500 grams.
It's $100.
It just wasn't
grams.
It wasn't financially viable.
Were you rubbing that on her too?
Yeah, well, it got pretty messy through the trial and development. Because you'd pretty much put the honey onto her skin, and you'd more or less wrap her in Glad wrap to get the honey to go into the skin.
So that's not going to last. So 400 grams isn't going to last long. Oh, losing you there, buddy.
Oh no, I'm back. Sorry.
You're back. Yeah, there we go. So 400 grams is not going to last long, mate. So what's the story look like?
No. And that's what motivated me to go out, or motivated to convince Tash that we should get a beehive. Again, I was doing fly out, and it was something that I wanted to give a go.
Yeah, right.
I said, well, we started looking into it. Raw honey has just the same amount of antibacterial properties. It's not as high as Manuka, but it still offers the same sort of benefits as far as moisture concentration goes. So we started getting the hives, and we started making the balm, and then we had excess honey, and then we had more honey than we knew what to do with. So we started giving it away to friends and family. And then friends and family said, "You're nuts. Why are you giving this stuff away? You need to start, selling it." And we accidentally started a business. Legitimately, we had no intention of starting a business at all.
That's fantastic. That's such a good story. So show us this next thing that you got there, matey.
This one here is, again, a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about, especially in the chili part of it, is complements of working with Adri.
So this
is smoked garlic. Yeah,
So Adrian's
Adrian
recovery
Scarro.
for Fire and Gourmet chilies. All right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this particular product, the smoked garlic honey, there is he's actually smoked the garlic for us, and he's low and slow, and gives it that beautiful. You know, everyone who's had Adrian's food will know,
I know.
he's So
He's a
yeah,
wizard.
we
He's a
teamed
wizard.
up with him. Exactly.
He's a food wizard. It's a meat wizard. It's insane.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So the whole purpose with getting Adrian involved is we can't just whack garlic into honey, because it's got too much moisture in it. So if you whack garlic straight into honey, it will ferment, and you do not want fermented honey. So by dehydrating it but giving it that smokiness flavor, absolutely beautiful. And we have that.
Right.
We're actually having roast pork for dinner tonight, so that's going over the top of the roast pork. Beautiful, beautiful flavor. Get the sweetness of the honey and the garlicness. I'll just show you another quick one that this is the other one.
Because you've got an absolute multitude of range. So obviously chili and smoked garlic. Ooh, nice. See, I've been on to you guys. I've been on to Jason here, so I'm going to say it on camera again. I need it all. I want it. I want the precious. I want all of it. So I've been harassing Jason for ages to try and get his whole range. So he's sending me stuff, but I'm going to harass him to get more.
We'll hook you up, man. We'll hook you up. I've got one that I've made one. I'll show it to you later. There's a special one. I've only made one of them so far.
One in the weeks.
It's
a surprise. Excellent. All right, mate. Well, look, the next thing I wanted to ask you, and I think a lot of people are going to be curious about this one, and this piqued my interest too. Look, what the hell goes through your mind when you're approaching a beehive or a beehive that you don't know? Look, you've told me as part of your job description that you've got to remove beehives from certain locations, like sort of like a snake catcher. You got to go in and remove the bees or whatever, or relocate them or whatever. What the fuck goes through your mind when you're like, no, it's okay, honey, I'm just gonna go move a fucking beehive? You know what goes through your mind, and how do you plan for that? Just tell us that, mate. I want to know.
I'll tell you a story. So one of the first rescues I ever got called up to do, I was fairly new on my bee journey.
So rescues is what you call it.
Bee rescue. Yeah, we like, because generally if we don't save them or rescue them, they're going to get poisoned. And we want to try and save them. So this is one of the first calls I ever had, and it was a lady who goes, "Look, we're about to chop a tree down. There's a fully fledged hive in the tree. Can you come and save them?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no worries." So I rocked up there, looked at it, and gone, "Oh crap!" It was pretty much a house over the north side of Brisbane. It was on the house had been excavated into a block, so it was a nice big cliff, and the tree was growing out of the cliff. So I've gone back home.
Shit.
It was full on. But I said, I'll give this lady my word. I'm going to try and rescue it. Now, my day job, 9 to 5 job, is a safety manager. So I've gone home. No. Yeah, it gets better. I went home, grabbed my climbing gear. So I've got all my working at height gear, ropes, the whole lot. Started rigging it all up and going, right. So I've got up there. I'm starting to cut the frame, or starting to cut the wax off the tree limb. Working away very carefully, and then I've cut it too far, and I've had a hole, it would have been like 1/2 meter deep and probably 1/2 meter wide, full of beeswax, honey, and bees, and it's fallen down to the bottom. So we're talking like 10, 15 meters down off this cliff. And I've gone, lesson learned, won't do that again. So I've kept on my merry way, started cutting away for the hive away, and then all of a sudden I feel this, like something crawling up my leg.
Oh no!
Okay, didn't think anything of it, and then it started. 1 sting, 2 stings. 3 stings. By the end of the day, I had the vicinity of about 250 stings from the lower half of my body.
Oh, jeez.
That was pretty intense. That's the worst I've ever been stung in my entire life. And it got to the point where I couldn't feel them anymore. It was that bad. But I saved the bees. I saved them. I got them home.
You couldn't feel bee stings. There's a lot of chili heads out there where they're just going, you get to a point where you eat a certain product or you eat enough products in that day, you go, your tongue's numb. But you don't think that when you think bee stings. You think this is going to get worse. More is worse, and worse is worse. It's just that. So you reckon you just got to the point where your body's just gone, can't feel nothing anymore.
Pretty much. It got scary though, because I could feel my heart starting to race. Because the venom that the bees inject you with is actually poison. I'm not allergic. Everyone's allergic to bee stings. It's just you have different levels of allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's something
yeah.
I wanted to mention was my sister is, and I'll lead into the next question about that for this. This is sort of why I asked that. My sister is deadly allergic to bees. Goes down to anaphylaxis, or she only needs two and she's done. Right?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
one she stepped on one and her foot was poof. It was like a football.
Yeah.
It was like a football with
Yep.
digits. It was wild. And there's a lot of rumors and myths and legends about bees and honey and stuff like that, you know, and a lot of people sort of have got this idea or this myth in their head that with honey is similar to anti-venom with snakes. That if you have the anti-venom, you'll be fine with the poison. If you have the local honey for that particular hive, it will make you either more immune or something like that. I wanted to ask you that. You want to dispel some myths for us and tell us a bit about that, mate. What's the story with that?
There's a lot of wives' tales out there when it comes to being stung by a bee. People say rub honey onto the site. They say, you know, you run around 3 times around the same hive and scream bees, bees, bees. I've heard some amazing remedies. The most effective, if you ever get stung by a bee and if you are got anaphylaxis, is get your EpiPen straight away. Don't muck around. And call 000, perhaps 100%. If you, like I said, everyone's allergic, but the quickest way you can abate a bee sting is to get some ice directly, like obviously scrape out the sting, don't squeeze it, but scrape it out, and then apply ice straight to it, because it's a lymphatic system. So your lymphatic system's just below your skin, and that's what passes the poison around your body.
That's
so
right.
If you get the ice onto it, it compresses all your capillaries and it stops the spread of the venom.
Yeah, and obviously, if the ice is on your veins there, it's constricting the veins, making them smaller. So, like you said, it doesn't circulate the stuff as much.
Yeah.
So that's sort of a good remedy to do that, especially if you said if someone's really in trouble and they don't have an EpiPen on them, they can't get to an ambulance soon or stuff like that, you know. So there you go, guys. That's sort of your remedy. But what was the story with the whole if you eat the honey for the local thing? Is there any merit to that?
Yeah, look, if you've got like you got histamine issues, or you got allergies to pollen or those kind of things around you, eating like a tablespoon of honey from the local area can help you. It's not like a golden solution. It's not a silver bullet, but it can help you with your allergies. But it has to be from the local area, or at least from an area that has similar flora to where you live. Like if there's ironbark, grey gums, that kind of stuff. But yeah, it is I wouldn't say it's scientifically proven, but it's well known through the industry that can assist and help.
Right. Okay. And you would be a bit of an authority on there as well about that one.
You got a little friend there.
Oh, this is Bazza. This is Bazza the bee.
Bazza the bee.
Bazza's here. He's here to sort of assist me with the few of the questions that I got for you. He's a bit curious as well about you.
I'll give you a free piece of advice. So, have you ever watched the Bee Movie?
Yeah. Okay. With Jerry Seinfeld.
Yep. Not even close to being true.
So it's just bullshit. He's just like, that's fuck. It's just like, hey kids, listen to this. It's all full of crap.
Pretty much. So the only bees that you guys will see out in the flower is a female bee. The males do absolutely nothing. They live inside the hive. They get fed. They get cleaned. They do nothing. They absolutely have no value to the hive whatsoever. The only thing that they're actually born to do is mate with a virgin queen. And when they do mate with a queen, they literally go out with a bang. They literally have their penis ripped off by the queen.
Oh, what? What? Why? What's the point of that? It's for the fun out of it, literally.
You know how you get stung by a bee, the stinger gets stuck in your skin?
Yeah.
They basically get their venom sac and intestines ripped out. It's the same with the male. Their appendage gets stuck inside the queen, and she has to trap that sperm in her body. So when he goes to fly away, you actually hear the pop, and that's him exploding, or his abdomen and reproductive organs exploding.
Oh, shit. So no wonder they're lazy bastards. Is like, mate, I'm going out with a bang, so I'm just counting down the days till I got to hit that. And then, there it is.
Yeah. Like I said, I go out with a bang.
That's what. So we just had Megan to Twinami. I said, my two fave chili and bees had Noosa chili, now have started up Sunny Coast Honey. love, sweet, and heat. There you go. Awesome.
Nice.
Thanks, Megan.
I might have to reach out to those guys and go and pay them a visit.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, wow, that was pretty cool to hear, mate. So, look, this is something I wanted to delve into now. One of the reasons why we're here tonight is you've been named the ambassador, right? Look, I want you to explain to us what you mean by this ambassador thing, and how do you achieve it, right? So, tell us a bit about that.
Yep. Okay. So, where do I start? So my wife Natasha, she won last year the Rural Women in Business for AgriFutures. It's pretty illustrious kind of award. It recognises women who come up with business ideas and improvements in the rural world and agricultural world. And we made it all the way down to Canberra and got recognised for all her work. And that was all around bee education and ethical and sustainable beekeeping, and really pushing it out there. There should be no barriers to beekeeping. I mean, we've got little kids as young as 5. We throw them in a bee suit, we take them up to the hives, and we show them how bees work, how they produce honey, explain to them how the bees are integral to every piece of food that we essentially have on our table. And that's our passion. Okay, yeah, we don't make the honey, we take the honey, but we sell honey and we sell products. But our passion is getting people to understand how integral these little insects are to our way of life.
Yeah, right.
It's imperative that we need to look after them. Everyone knows no bee, no me. It's well known. Einstein famously said, and I'm going to get shocked because I can't remember the exact term, but if bees disappeared tomorrow, humans would have up to about 4 years before we start dying out. That's how integral they are to pollination for our food. So literally in the last 8 weeks, you've had commercial beekeepers traveling all over the east coast of Australia for pollinating your almonds, your kiwi fruit, your apples, your macadamias. They're just the ones in the last 8 weeks. Without those guys running around pollinating those food crops, you wouldn't have food crops.
Right.
So it's integral. And I guess that's why we're so passionate about it, get people to understand and respect it.
Because it's necessary.
On the back, exactly. And on the back of that, we have spent a lot of time educating people around bees and what we do as beekeepers and how we ensure that we're ethical. Like we talked about sustainable beekeeping, about only taking what they can afford to give us, respecting the bees, not using any chemicals around them, educating people on, if you've got weeds in your backyard, let them flower so the bees can feed on them. As soon as the flower dies, then hit them with vinegar and water. Don't use Roundup. Don't use glyphosates on the anticides because they will kill a beehive like that. So there's alternatives out there, and that's what we've been educating people about.
And I suppose if they somehow manage to survive somehow, then it would probably affect the honey too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
You'd be poisoning yourself, wouldn't it?
Yeah, there's all schools of thoughts on this, but a lot of the imported honey that we bring into Australia, the lower cost stuff that you see on the supermarket shelves, they are known to be full of antibacterial drugs because they have to give their bees what's the word I'm looking for? Antibiotics. Sorry, not antibacterial, antibiotics, because they suffer diseases. They've got chemicals, oxalic acid, because they've got pests in their hives. And then you've got all the other chemicals that have been used on food crops that aren't regulated. And that ends up in your honey. And then
how do you forgive my ignorance here, how do you give a bee antibiotics?
So you can put it into like a syrup and feed it to the bees. So as amazing as incredible bees are and how smart they are in the wild, so to speak, if we put a sugar solution of water and sugar in front of them, they will think that's nectar and they'll harvest it and take it back to the hive.
Wow.
And if you can put drugs like Randy's description in there and they'll take it back to the hive. And once it's in the hive, it's now spread throughout the hive.
And do they get sus on it if you just put it right next to the hive?
No.
They'll they just attack. Wow.
Yeah, it basically, if there's no rule of thumb in beekeeping, but if you give them an easy solution, they'll generally go towards the easy solution. But they can also be smart enough to go, well, actually, that tastes okay, but there's a lavender plant flowering over there, and lavender is like Coke to bees. They love it. They go nuts over it. Absolutely nuts.
I have heard of this thing where they'll communicate, and they'll sort of buzz their wings fast or something, and they go, yo, I was at this flower before, and that shit is like legit, man. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gotta try. You gotta. Like he's saying, if it's like cocaine, like he'll be like, man, this stuff is so good over here. Oh my god, you know, they're like,
Yeah.
ah!
You've hit the nail on the head. It's the bee dance
You
or the bee
gotta try
waggle.
this stuff. You gotta try this stuff. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah. Larry, buzzer. Oh my god. What are we doing?
They go
Get over
nuts.
there. Yeah,
Exactly. They go off. They do the bee waggle, and that's how they communicate. So if one single bee lands on a tree that's flowering, within an hour you could have 5,000 to 10,000 bees on that tree because they've gone back and told all their mates where to get it from.
Yeah. They're like,
But as soon as you introduce neanticides to a hive, neanticides and glyphosates, it actually corrupts their brain and they can no longer communicate correctly. So instead of telling their fellow bees to travel, 500 meters south, turn right, and then travel another 300 meters east, they'll go, oh, travel 500 meters north and then turn south. It confuses them, and they can no longer communicate effectively to be able to share where they get their food from, and eventually the hive can potentially starve and die out.
Wow, that's pretty psycho, dude. And that's I asked you before, what goes through your mind when you're about to approach a hive? You didn't sort of actually say that. So what is it? Or have you got like something to get you in the mind frame of that? Like, how do you approach a hive? Like, get your head around that.
Look, it is a bit of a challenge when you first get in. You got this trepidation, like, oh crap, I'm going to get stung. I'm not going to like this. And you're really nervous, but the bees, I reckon, can pick up on that nervous energy and they become nervous. So the more you work them and the more you get used to them, like at the end of the day, you just got to accept, as a beekeeper, you don't want to get stung, but you got to accept that you probably will.
Yeah.
Now, if you're careful and you treat them, you don't rush and bang and slam and carry on, they chill out. Like, you got a smoker, which can help them mask their attack pheromone, but a smoker will also make them think there's a potential bushfire coming. So their attention is no longer on you. Their attention is going into the hive and starting to eat the honey that's there in case they have to take off. So that allows you to basically distract them, or you can go and check the hive and make sure, they're healthy or there's honey there to take off them.
Right. Okay. So that's why that works. Because I was curious. I was going to ask you that later on, but that's fine. Yeah. Because I was just like, why do they all this is a fucking smoke? But all right, that makes heaps of sense. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Awesome. Well, do you want to show us another product, mate? And I'll ask you something else.
Yeah. I'm going to show you a Nonhoney product. This is something we haven't actually formally released yet.
Ooh. Okay. Something new.
So it's a non-honey product, but
non-honey.
Yeah.
Natural bath salt, Harmony blend. So how did you stumble upon creating this little masterpiece of a thing?
Believe it or not, it was, again, accident. So we've been using, obviously, the honey body balm on Miranda for quite some time, and we read all this stuff about magnesium and how we're magnesium deficient. So there's a couple of things. We've got some health issues with Miranda as far as her behavioural and stuff like that. So we started speaking to, again, the doctor and GP, and they said, look, try magnesium. And we looked into it and said, okay, well, how can we better improve this? So we started using magnesium with some calming blends, which is like essential oils, and we started putting that into the bath. So, but there's other benefits to it as well, because with the magnesium, it actually can help with the whole skin profile as far as drawing out toxicity, and also maintain hydration in your skin. So when she comes out of the bath, then we apply the balm, she's getting a double dose of not just magnesium, but moisturizing into her skin. Right. So it's also known to help with her eczema as well. So it's sort of complementing our other products.
Yeah. And you thought, well, if this works for me, then I'm sure it works for other people. So why not sell it as well?
That's our whole premise. What we make, if we don't like it or if it doesn't work for us, we just don't proceed with it.
Wow, that's a really awesome business model. Like, because a lot of people say, "Oh, we put love in our products." I'm like, you really, really do put love in your products. You care about every single one of your products, because obviously you're using it there on your daughter. And if it doesn't work for her, then it's not going to work for you guys. And then
exactly,
it sounds like you sort of run the process through her. So it sounds like you've got this holy trinity of a design setup. It's you, your wife, and then your daughter as well, and it's kind of the ladder of all the design setup for your products. It's quite unique, actually. Yeah,
we've been lucky too. Because most GP, if you go and speak to a GP, they're like fully against holistic or alternative treatments. They're like, nope, you have to use prescribed medication. It's the only thing that's going to work. We're lucky enough that our GP was open to trying different things, and our naturopath all worked with us. So I guess as much as we like to take all the credit, like it was our formulation and everything like that, but it was with their guidance that allowed us to get to where we are today as well.
Right. So you just sort of got lucky that you got a good GP that was sort of like, yeah, well, and then sort of sussed it out, like a sort of good path going for you. Yeah. Awesome, man.
Yeah, he was amazed too with what the success we've had. He was absolutely over the moon with it. So that's why he's backed us with everything we've been doing. So it's been good.
All right. Well, I'm going to ask another question. We're going to sort of delve into some chili stuff soon, guys.
Yeah.
But we're just sort of beginning with the milder stuff, we would say first, before we delve into the spicier stuff. Because I want to just sort of put a bit of focus on honey first, guys, and then we'll delve into this spicy stuff. So look, you've now got a bit of beekeeping under your belt now. You're a bit of a pro, you might say. You've been doing it for how many years now?
Coming up to 7.
7 years. So you might say you're a bit of a pro. You, like you said, you're removing foreign, what's it called, hives. You said you're freeing the bees and what do you want to call it? Look, what advice would you give for future beekeepers, for people that are aspiring to be a beekeeper? What do you say to people like that? You say, yeah, keep being crazy, or like, how do you advise someone on that? Like, what works?
I guess that the very first thing I tell everyone to do when they say I want to get a beehive is find a local club near you, get in contact with them, start talking to them. Sorry, let them sting you.
Yeah. Do you like this? Do you like this? We'll get used to it now.
Well, to be honest, it's not such a bad idea because I've actually.
It's a method to my madness.
Yeah. Well, have you ever heard of the flow hive?
Negative. I've never heard
Okay, good. You're probably about the only person on this planet who hasn't, because it's everywhere. It's a great, fantastic product. The guys, Stu and Cedar, put a lot of effort into it. It's essentially, I don't want to be rude, but it's beekeeping for lazy people.
No, fair enough.
So it's a device where you sit it on top of a beehive and you turn like a turn tap or whatever you want to call it, and the honey flows out of a plastic frame into a bucket or a jar. Got people into beekeeping. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
But there was no education behind it.
Right.
And you've still got to manage your bees. You've still got to look at your bees. You've got to check their health. You've got to make sure that they're not swarming, or there's no American foul brood or any other diseases in there.
So it's kind of like going, here's a pretty little tiger. Have this as a pet.
Yeah. And then work out later on it bites.
Oh, by the way, in 18 months it's full size.
Exactly.
Fuck.
Exactly. So we've spent a lot of time educating people on that. And look, we did a lot of reading. We did a lot of YouTubing. We went and joined a beekeeping club, and my God, the knowledge that some of those guys have, it's seriously, I would never have got into it if I wasn't able to tap into that knowledge. And it's some beekeepers are a bit funny about sharing experiences. It's like asking a fisherman sometimes, where'd you catch your biggest fish? And they'll probably say, right here. They're not going to tell you everything.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you're not going to share all the secrets. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
So some people would be
I'm an open book
with this. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm an open book. I'll tell everyone anything they need to know. What works for me, it might not work for them, but it certainly has worked for Tash and I, being able to sort of expand our beekeeping experiences. But you have to get a mentor. You have to get someone who's going to walk you through the process.
Okay. Yeah. So don't just jump into it overnight. Get advice. Talk to people. Like you said, get a mentor, get in a community, have some communication with other people, find out as much as you can. So you're saying research as well.
Yeah, research. And again, just because this book says you have to do it a certain way doesn't mean you have to do it that way.
So
you can try and be a bit different. Exactly. There's no rule of thumb in beekeeping. There are certain elements that you have to follow, but there's no general rule of thumb.
All right, fair call. All right, matey. So you got another product there to show us as well.
Oh, do you want to start getting into the chili stuff?
If you want, mate. Like, is there any other non-chili products you got?
Yeah. Where do you want me to start? This is one of if Ash is still watching us. This is one of his favorites.
Ooh, vanilla infused. Oh, what? I need to try that, dude. That sounds legit.
So that's real vanilla bean. Real vanilla bean. None of this fake essence. That's real vanilla bean. That's been sourced from the villages over in Papua New Guinea, direct from the farmer, not from some wholesaler, So we've got our own little version of free trade going over there and fair trade. So we pay them the market value. So if you don't know, like if you buy a kilo of vanilla bean in Australia, it's about $1,300 to $1,400 a kilo. Over in Papua New Guinea, those farmers are getting paid maybe $50 to $60 a kilo for it. Gives you an idea.
So you just like, well, cut out the middleman and just pay them directly.
And I pay them market rate. I pay them a fair price. So
respect. That's awesome.
Well, their one harvest supports their whole entire village.
Well, there you go. So that sounds like the right thing to do. Yeah,
exactly. Now, this is what started our whole infused journey. This one here.
Strawberry infused creamed honey. Nice.
So this whole infusion process. So you remember a few years ago we had those idiots jamming needles into strawberries?
Yeah.
So we have a local strawberry farm up here, and they were just dumping all their strawberries. They couldn't sell them because obviously Coles and Woolies banned them. You couldn't sell them in the shops. So we brainstormed. How can we create something and say, oh, you can make strawberry jam? Boring. Everyone does strawberry jam. So we thought of ways, how can we make it into honey? And you mentioned before about garlic, how if it's got too much moisture, it will ferment the honey. It's the same with strawberries. They're like 75% water.
Yeah, they're moist.
Yeah, exactly. So we've had to, I'm not going to say it. We had to take the moisture out of the strawberries, but you don't want to dry it out so it becomes like brittle. You want to have some moisture in there. Yeah. And then we basically, through the creaming process, add that to the honey, let it sit there for we'll let it sit there for a couple of months so the strawberry flavor really imparts into the honey. Okay. And then we cream it, bottle it, and it turned out to be one of our best-selling products we've ever had.
Wow. That sounds awesome, dude. Awesome. All right. Well, look, the thing I want to ask you is, and this is going to be, it sounds like you sort of already delved a little bit into it, but I wanted to ask you about your work-family life balance. Like, it sounds like you are a man that is not just on a mission. You're freaking hard. You're hard to do to get hold of. First of all, this is a bit of a while in the making, guys, to get this interview even on the ground, boots on the ground kind of thing. I was just like, fuck, dude, just answer your phone. But there's a reason behind it. I'm just like, fuck. But how do you maintain this work family life balance with all this stuff going on? It sounds like you got a lot of plates in the air or balls in the air kind of thing. I'm like, what is it that you do? How do you keep your sanity, mate?
Well, to be honest, bees keep my sanity, and my wife, she keeps me grounded.
Just be yourself. Yeah. What? So wife keeps you grounded.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a partnership. Tash, basically, she's out there in the suit with me. Like I couldn't do this without her, and she couldn't do it without me. We're 100% a partnership. And she's got just as much passion about the bees as what I do, and our daughter does too. So it's that passion that drives us to improve our business and improve who I am as a person. So I mentioned before I was doing fly in, fly out work. I was working 4 weeks straight, 16, 17 hours a day, in the middle of nowhere, not being able to talk to friends or family, missing out on birthdays, special events, the whole lot. Yeah. So I come home for a week of R&R.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. It's like, how old is your daughter now?
She's 8.
8. And so how old was she when you're doing the fly in, fly out kind of stuff?
I came home when she turned 5.
Yeah. So you're missing pivotal years. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
I was watching her grow up on Facebook.
Fuck that. Yeah. Okay.
I just went, and being that I'm actually, like I said, I'm safety manager by day, and I wasn't getting the big, huge dollar signs that the other guys were on the ground were getting. But I didn't have a choice because there was no work in Brisbane at the time. Like I was applying for jobs like you would not believe, and I was either too experienced, not experienced, or you're not really the right fit for us. Being in oil and gas, it's a very unique field. Coming home for that 1 week, I was angry, tired, frustrated, pissed off with the world. It just wasn't fair on anyone. And then through working the bees, I actually found it was very cathartic. It was almost, it's something about the bees hum. You at first you're more focused on not getting stung. It's like, crap. But then the more you actually become distracted and actually looking at how amazing they are, and it's going to sound like I'm an alternative kind of person, but legitimately, if you sit there and stare at the front of a hive, you become mesmerized about how they operate and what they do. And the more you learn about them, you sit there and go, wow, that is absolutely awesome. And I found it was actually like all my problems are melting away. And it also helped Tash and I reconnect when I come home. So we had that common interest, like, you know, screw the world. Just screw the world. We're going to go out and play with our bees. And we did. And it just naturally progressed from there. And then we've had people who've had PTSD come out and they'd jump in a bee suit. And they also found that they were very anxious and had huge amounts of anxiety and stressed. And the same thing, once they got over that fear of, you know, I'm around 30,000 bees that can sting me, it became cathartic. And it's just something about them. You just stop thinking about all your problems. You start focusing on these little insects and these little beings and what they do, and how it almost feels like every issue and every concern you have is insignificant, and you start focusing on what they can do and how they go about their lives.
Yeah, because like you said, it sort of sounds like you're like watching little people with wings and working in a little community, and you're just like, oh, that's you said you get sucked into their world. You're sort of like, oh,
exactly.
You know.
The whole hive mentality is they can't survive without each other. Like the queen can't survive without the workers, and the workers can't survive without the queen.
So it's a synchronicity kind of symbiotic 100%. Relationship with each other. Yeah. Well, okay, 100%. Right. And that's what you're saying. What you were elaborating earlier was that us humans as well, we can't really survive without them too, because of that kind of thing. You said there's a lot of stuff we rely on because of these guys, and if they disappeared, then we're pretty screwed.
Yeah, I mean, look. The reality is, technology's improved. There's GMO food out there. I mean, when Einstein came up with that quote, you know, we didn't have technology like we have now. I'm sure humans would find a way around to work pollination and grow crops, but we start taking nature out of it. We start taking the true essence of what these insects do for us. And some people say, "Oh, we exploit bees." Like, and if any vegans are watching this, they're probably going to get upset when I say this. I really don't give a rat's ass about vegans. They have their opinion. They have their beliefs. I respect their beliefs, but do not force it onto me, and do not force it onto other people who want to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
We don't abuse our bees. Simple as that. Yeah. We respect them.
All right. Fair call. All right, mate. Well, let's delve into the next bit. I wanted you to sort of, when you grab a chili or whatever product you're going to grab now, I wanted you to tell us a bit about your first chili honey product, like
this one right here.
There it is there. And how did you make that step, that jump? How did you make that step or the jump from the honey kind of products to then, let's start playing with some spicy shit?
Well, it's kind of weird. It was a culmination of a few things. I wanted to grow some chilies, and I went and got some cayennes and went, oh, that's cute. There's no heat in them. Like, I mean, I'm not a chili eater. I do not like hot shit. I appreciate like habanero heat, and that's about my level. Although Adrian, he's stitched me up more than once. He's friggin' deathstracked.
I don't think you can be around chili heads without being stitched up. You know, it's like an initiation or like, you know, a point of entry, a rite of passage. You know, if you haven't been stitched up, then you're just not doing it right.
Exactly. No, I've been stitched up more than once.
I found out. I think we all have.
Yeah. But no, look, it came like Robert Webb. I'm not sure if many people here are familiar. Yeah. Some may or may not be familiar with him. I reached out through the chili marketplace. Hey, look, guys, I'm looking to grow some chilies. Does anyone have any seeds that I could possibly swap for some honey or purchase? Rob lives on the north side of Brisbane, which is a better part of an hour away from me, hour and a bit. He drove to the south side and opened up his little book of seeds and goes, here you go. Wow. And I started chilies. Now, if it wasn't for his generosity, I would never have got into it.
Wow.
And then through that, we started making a what you call a sedate or civilized chili honey. Because I wanted something a bit of spice. I wanted something a bit of, you know, legitimately we had wings one night, well, not ribs one night, and we put some of our honey over it. I said, oh, that's nice. But I wouldn't mind something with a bit of spice to it, a bit of heat to it.
Kick. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what motivated me to start growing chilies, because I went and had a look at the price of chilies at Woolies and just went, nah, that ain't going to happen. It wasn't going to be a viable product for me. Like paying $30 a kilo, it's not a viable product.
No.
Because a kilo of chili would turn into maybe 100 grams of chili powder or chili flakes. So it's bugger all. And when we're making 50, 60 kilos of this at a time, you need a few kilos of dry chili to actually make this work.
Yeah.
So we made the civilized chili, and then we went to a chili
So
meet and greet.
sorry, I really don't mean to interrupt you. Can you just tell me what you mean by civilized chili? What does that mean?
Oh, okay. So this is civilized chili. So this isn't going to blow your head off. It's got a nice heat, the sweetness of the honey. It's balanced, perfect with your cooking. Absolutely beautiful.
All right, so like a mild flavor.
Yeah.
So there's the focus of the flavor more than the heat, but with a
Yeah,
bit of
it's probably bordering on Tabasco, a bit lower than Tabasco.
okay,
So
cool.
not a lot of
All
heat, but nice flavor. So we took that to we had a meet and greet, like a chili head meet and greet that was organised by Marcus Hicks,
Yep.
Hicksy, and then I sort of started. That's why I really started getting involved with Adrian, and he had some of his Destract there, and we said, well, how can we make this a bit hotter? So we got a bit creative with his Destract. Dropped a couple of bits into the honey, and it lit up my world. That's when I sort of went, wow, chili actually does get hot. I didn't know what Carolina Reapers were before that day. I had no idea. And then I had
there's nothing, there's no feeling quite like Deathstrack. There's nothing quite like it. And that level of heat, that level of burn, the longevity of the burn, how much it lights you up, where it lights you up, and then the moment you accidentally get it in places you didn't want to get it, and you're like, it's like, how do I get this fucking shit off me?
Yep. My hands are still burning because I made some 3STINGS up today. And my hands are still burning.
Oh, so you're obviously well aware. Anyone that always played or come into contact with Deathstract in a professional level, or even in just any sort of level, just gone, yep, this is my life now.
Yep. But the first stitch I've ever had, and they deny it to this day, but they had jalapeno poppers there at this event, and I'm chewing, I'm loving, I'm smashing them, and I go, I'll have another one of those, pop them. And the next thing you know, my eyes started to water, my throat started to hurt, I started getting hiccups and the coughs, I'm sweating profusely, my eyes are going bloodshot. To this day, I'm damn sure that there was a Reaper in there. They deny it, but every time they deny it, they crack themselves up laughing. So
yeah, there's stitched up with something. It might not have been a Reaper, but it sounds like it was bloody hot though.
Oh mate, it was up there. It was up there.
Yeah, and so show us this product again that you were talking about. So this is your first one.
This is the first one here.
And this one, and what's it called? Chili infused honey, raw honey.
Yeah,
awesome.
Just
and so what is it? What is it that you've whacked in there? What was the chili that you threw in there initially?
Initially, we threw with cayennes. It just wasn't any heat. There was just no heat whatsoever. So then we stepped it up to your habaneros, which gave it a really nice, balanced heat. And that's where we pretty much held it. That's civilized, especially with the sugar and the honey. It helps balance the heat profile out, but you still get the flavor.
I love that word, civilized. So you're saying that the honey just absorbs the heat so much that it just sort of compresses it, or what's the word? It just smothers it. It just smothers the heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the sugar content of the honey helps disperse the heat and
that's right.
The oil
that's
through
right.
It.
Because sugar can break down the capsaicin. That's right. So if you haven't got it, so you need to put an extra amount of capsaicin to sort of give it some whack. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And that's what the challenge I had. Like everyone's going, oh, that's cute. Like I'm going to a chili meet and greet, and they're going, oh, that's cute. I'm like, oh, I'm sitting there going, this is friggin' hot. Like, what are you guys on about? And they're just having it like it was nothing. I'm like going, holy crap, man! Like seriously,
holy crap, that man!
Up. Yeah, it's like almost embarrassing.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, mate. Well, let's just sort of get a bit more into the chili world. The chili So, tell us a bit more about Be All Natural versus your 3STINGS brands. You got those two brands there. So you got Be All Natural, which is obviously it sounds like it's more of a honey kind of focus, and then you've got your 3STINGS. Like, I first of all want to know sort of what's the difference between the names and why the different names? Why not just fly under the one banner? What's the story behind that?
Okay. So Be All Natural is, for us, our family. It's who we are. It's our passion. It's our love. It's the whole thing about is being natural. And we want to be able to give that to other people. So this is the last chili product under the Be All Natural range is this one, which I know you've had.
Oh, love that. I'm like, I like, you have no idea, guys, how quickly I destroyed that jar. I was just like, need this in my life. It was just so good. I was like, wow. And I got that. It was in the fire trial for quite a while before I ran out. So that's the other reason why I hit you up is just like, dude, I need more of this. I've run out. Need more now.
Yeah, we'll hook you up with some. We'll hook you up with some.
Awesome.
But yeah,
awesome.
and that to us, that was a family thing. It's sweet. It's got chocolate and it's got a bit of a kick to it, but not, again, it's civilized heat. It's got the flavor and the profile that we're after. But that's what Be All Natural is. That's who we are. That's what we want to be known as. The 3STINGS it's like the asshole black cousin of Be All Natural.
The sadistic prick brother.
Yeah, it's a black sheep of the family of Be All Natural. It doesn't fit with our branding. It doesn't fit with who we are. But it does, but it doesn't. You know, if you look at our photos that we take with bees and our daughter and with Tash, you look at us and go, oh, they're a lovely family. And then you'll see, you know, someone will put up there and go, you killed me at the Chili Fest, or, you know, Bridge Chili Fest, you killed me. And I'm like, hey, mate, hang on a second. This is a family-friendly sort of page here.
I see. So
yeah, we had to separate it.
3STINGS is almost like your alter ego of Be All Natural. Yeah. It's the sadistic alter ego. So the Be All Natural is like the fun, family-loving, family-friendly one with all the kids like, you know, and then 3STINGS is like, I'm going to fuck your shit up.
More or less, yeah. It's pretty much it. Yeah.
Oh, love it. I absolutely love it, mate. You know, and it's something I've noticed.
That people.
Sorry, mate. We just sort of lost you there. Can you? Oh, now you are. Yep. So say that again. You're lulling people into a false sense of security.
We lull people into a false sense of security, and then we smack them with 3STINGS.
That's fantastic. I love that. All right, matey. Well, we'll delve into the next question here, and obviously your next your product there that you want to show off for us. While you're grabbing that, so I wanted to ask you, look, what's the weirdest or funniest beekeeping moments that you've had along your travels? I'm sure you've had a couple. Well, what do you reckon is like the weirdest or funniest ones that you've had?
I'll tell you the story of how we come up with 3STINGS.
All right.
We're past, kids are in bed by now. Yep. Okay, we're good. I'm at an apiary site. And it's a site that was loaned to us by a lady who was into wildlife management and wildlife care.
So apiaries are like man-made
bee sites. Yeah, bee sites. So where we put our bees, we call it an apiary site. Right. So this site was given to us. It was a beautiful part of the country, but the deal was we maintained around the bees because she didn't want to get stung by bees. And I said, yeah, fair enough. We can do that. So I'm out there one day, and I'm sort of mowing the grass around the grass was, you know, getting up above the hives, and snakes and everything else. You want to make sure you keep it well controlled.
That's one thing you don't want to do.
Yeah, pretty much. And we've had quite a few close calls. So we might keep the grass really short around the hive so we can work and, you know, see what's around us. Anyway, it's a hot day. I've taken my bee suit off. I've done what I had to do with the bees, but I had a little veil on my face, you know, because you don't want to get stung in the face. So I'm walking around with the mower. I've looked down and seen there's a stick on the ground. So I go and pick the stick up, and my pants split. Just, you know, they're old pants. Who cares? And then I picked up the mower, started pushing it again. I bent down to pick up another stick, and it was at that moment in my life I realised I was in trouble. I got 3STINGS on the old fella. I had bees fly up, split my pants, and just went zoop, straight up and stung.
Oh.
Now,
wow.
I can't explain to you the level of pain. So if you can get to a bee sting and pull out the stinger straight away, it doesn't hurt as bad. But when it's on your old fella and you got pants and everything on, you just have to sit there and just breathe as much as you can through it, because nothing is going to help you. Nothing. It's just, you just have to wear it. And I was in a lot of pain. The drive home, you don't need Viagra if you get stung by a bee. Everything swells up. It doesn't feel good, but everything swells up.
Oh, so you're hating it, but your missus is like, oh, baby, it's time to go.
Oh, no, she pissed herself laughing.
Go time.
She was going, serve yourself right. That's what you get. And, you know, I'd take my medicine. But yeah, so it was the most excruciating pain I think I've ever been in my life.
I'm sorry, I don't have I've got a very non-PG comment, but it is. I just had this. I just had this image of you, and your missus is like, no, we can't waste this opportunity. And it's like, I just imagined her on you, and you're just crying, going, please stop.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
sorry. I'm sorry. I just had to
for
say
free,
that.
man.
I just had to say that. Wow.
No, you don't want anyone going anywhere near it at all. I don't know how to explain the pain I was in. It was like someone had jammed in grapefruit into a balloon, and the balloon was about to pop. It was excruciating, absolutely excruciating. So that's how we started the 3STINGS idea. So
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds. It sounds very derivative of the name. I was like, oh, that's where they got the name from. Something you never forget.
No. Some people ask me where you get 3STINGS from at a festival. I have to sit there and go, oh, that's a story for another time.
Yeah. We'll get to know each other a little bit, over coffee or maybe a lot of drinks.
Yeah.
Maybe some shots.
But, I mean, I've been stung just about everywhere in my body, and that
let's prove it.
Yeah, that was excruciating. That was absolutely excruciating.
Oh,
but
nice.
I suppose
that's a good story.
And that sort of introduces us to this little fella.
Yeah, so this is under the 3STINGS thing. So 3STING honey. What is this one called? Mummy, can I play? What a name! Nice. So this is. You said that you got certain various levels, and this is. What do you call it?
That's level 1.
It's not an extract. It is a. What do you call them? They're infused or something.
So these are the ones we actually have dabbled with a bit of extract.
Yeah. And so, what do you call the concoction? What do you call it?
Pain. Is that what you mean?
No, but like obviously, there's tinks, there's extracts. So this is an infusion of extracted honey.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Like an infusion,
I don't know
or
what to really call it. And none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Adrian helping me out either. This is a product that's simply been born through collaboration. I honestly, I don't know what to call it. That's a question I've never been asked before. I just call it really stupid hot honey, like ridiculously hot honey.
So I'd say, maybe extract infusion. I don't know. Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah, extract infusion, yeah.
And now, so you said that's the mildest one, right?
Yes.
That's right. Now, what's like? How do you determine the heat levels on these? Like, why is that one mild? Like, how much did you put into the honey ratio or something? Is that what the screw?
So I've got a barrel of honey that's been sitting on CHILLI now for about coming out to 2.5, 3 years.
Wow.
And we just keep adding CHILLI to it. We just keep throwing CHILLI at it. So the longer it sits there, the more it infuses into the honey. So this stuff, when it comes out, it's almost black. There's that much CHILLI in it, but it's almost unedible. So we have to actually dilute it back down again with honey.
Right.
So we get the flavor of the CHILLI, you get the flavor of the honey, but to get that little bit of an extra kick, we then meld in the extract into the honey as well. So that gives you the heat profile, but you get the flavor and the sweetness of the honey.
Right. Okay.
So it just how we work that is we just add more raw honey to it to balance the flavor out. Okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so this mummy, can I play kind of one? So that's the mildest one you said. You've got out of these levels of the extract range that you just brought out. That's right. Is that right?
Yeah. The hotter I get, the more we add to it, and then the less raw honey we add to it, the more extract we add to it. And
the more aggressive the names become as well, I'm assuming.
Yep. So the next one up is. Oh, no, I've just renamed all these, so because we sort of ran out of. I've got to get this the right way. No, wrong way. Getting used to this camera back to front stuff.
Don't hurt me. Nice.
So you pretty much go up in double heat. So for every level we go up, it's double.
Double up. All right. Cool. All right. All right. Well, I got to ask you the next thing. So we've just showed us those ones, and you just sort of delved into it. Said that that Manuka. You were saying before Manuka is pretty medicinal, and he said a little bit about this honey medicinal. Are all honeys medicinal? Like, are all honeys medicinal? And the second part of that question I wanted to ask you is that now you're a bit more. I'm not going to say aged. You're more experienced in the CHILLI and honey world. Tell us a bit more about your awards and your achievements in the CHILLI and honey community as well. But yeah,
Yep.
we'll go with that. The medicinal part first. Yeah.
With the medicinal part, yeah, Manuka is certainly well. Manuka is a Kiwi name for the tree that they have over there produces leptospirin. I can never pronounce this. Medicinal grade honey, or MGO, or UMF, whatever they want to call it. There's different levels of antibacterial properties and health benefits.
Right.
So
Okay.
they've called that Manuka. Now they've got one species of shrub/tree that produces that honey. In Australia, we've got 78 species of the subspecies of that plant that produces medicinal grade honey. But in Australia, we call it jellybush.
Okay.
It's exactly the same honey. It's exactly the same medicinal benefits. But New Zealand just market it very well, and kudos to them. New Zealand's probably known for Manuka honey as much as their lamb exports and everything else. They're known for their high grade quality honey.
I'll be honest.
Jellybush
I never knew Manuka was for New Zealand. I'll be honest. I never knew that.
Well, we've got Manuka plants here, but they're all called jellybush, or tea tree, or something along those lines.
That's like the story. That's the story behind you know what we call grapeseed oil these days.
Mm.
It used to be called rapeseed, and it was rapeseed oil. But people going, oh no,
we can't call it that.
We can't call it that.
Nah.
That's bad marketing.
Bit on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and look, Manuka, people, this is the part that really frustrates me with Manuka or jellybush honey. They'll pay a lot of money for it and they'll add it to their tea or their coffee. Now, if you heat honey above 40 to 45 degrees, you kill the health benefits of that honey. You just absolutely kill it. It's of no benefit whatsoever. You might as well be going and buying the stuff at the supermarket and whacking into your honey. There's no benefit. So pure raw jellybush or Manuka honey, if you eat it by the spoonful, does have health benefits for you. But it's also more suitable for topical treatments, for skin treatments, for burns, rashes, stuff like that. Because again, it's more of a topical application that helps with the reactions and the moisture in your skin.
So it is good for burns. I've heard that there's a few rumors about it.
A lot of burns dressings, A lot of burns dressings have medicinal grade honey impregnated into the dressing itself because it can help with the moisture and stop the burn. So
you're burning yourself, not with chili, but with actual fire kind of burn.
Yeah,
it's worthwhile. Some home remedy.
100%. Yeah. It's certainly got it's there. We supply a lot of honey to horse trainers because raw honey can help with when horses injure themselves on fences or on jumps and stuff like that. They apply it to the horses. But raw honey does also have health benefits to you as well. It might not be as high medicinal grade as Manuka or jellybush, but it's certainly got its topical treatments as well as ingested benefits as well.
Yeah, right. Okay, good stuff, mate. All right, well, let's grab out another level of this stuff you're going to show us. Now, this is something I want to ask you because everyone in the chili community is well aware. What's this one called? Bring it on! Nice. That looks good. I'm loving the branding and the logo is awesome too. And with the actual 3 Bs, the 3 Bs and the 3 stings, like you were just
it took a lot of work to get to that level. I can tell you, it took a lot of work.
So something I wanted to delve into is look, there's obviously a chili community and there's a beekeeping community or a honey community as well. I wanted you to sort of explain to us or tell you what's the differences between the two. Like, if there is, how would you compare them or whatever? Tell us a bit about that, because I remember you've touched on a few things in a group chat. You're going, oh man, you think that's crazy? You should talk about the beekeeping community. Wow. I'm like, well, now I'm asking you. Tell us some about that.
We're not your typical beekeepers. Tash and I are certainly not what you imagine. Like, if I was to ask you, describe to me what a beekeeper looks like to you, what pops to your mind? I'm not on the screen here. What would you imagine a beekeeper being?
Don't know, mate. It's a dude, a person in a suit. That's
What age demographic do you think that'd be?
Oh, okay, that's a good point. I'd say an older gentleman that's maybe bored and lonely.
So now, if you see our photos and our videos. Now, my wife is young, obviously female. I'm not as young as her, but I'm still young.
Yep.
But we are a positive disruption to the beekeeping world. We are not the ones. We want to make it inclusive. We want everyone to get involved. We want people to learn and understand about bees.
Right.
Now, we share that knowledge. We open our book to everyone. We want to impart that on everyone. Now, the industry has been going for a very long time, and in 90% of the cases, beekeepers are the older gentlemen that have been doing it for umpteen years. It's probably third generation, whatever it is.
Wow.
They can get very negative towards people like us because we're young. What would we know? We know nothing about bees. You know, you're a danger to our industry, and we get slapped down quite a lot,
Wow.
in publicly and behind the scenes.
It's almost sounding like a Bruce Lee kind of story.
Yeah,
you must not share with the non-beekeeping people.
Yeah, pretty much. It gets quite nasty. It actually
Oh, Mr.
really
Chili's in the
starts.
house. He says, I hope
Hey,
you're happy and healthy. Hey, you going on, Andrew? It's the way.
yeah, mate. Yeah, yeah. Look, there's a lot of tit for tat. Look, I'm big and ugly enough to look after myself. I've been, around a while now. In my 9-to-5 job, mate, I'm in safety. I mean, what else can I say? You can have the biggest pot shot you want at me. I don't care. I've got thick skin and big shoulders. Have a go. I'm just going to shrug it off. If that's the kind of person you want to be in your life, be a negative person. That's fine. Tash is the same. We want to bring people along for the journey. We don't want people to have barriers and be resistant. And yeah, I've seen some of the stuff that goes on in the chili world.
Mr. Chili's asking, is this live now? That's right. It is live now, right now, Mr. Chili. So tell everyone else to jump on board and have a watch. Yep. He's like, I hope so. Am I in the future? No, you're in the past. I'm in the future because I'm 1 hour ahead of you in Sydney. Daylight savings, whatever.
True. But
yeah, sorry. Keep going.
I see some of the stuff going on in the chili pages, and yeah, look, a lot of it's a bit immature. There's some stuff flying around. There's a bit of cloak and dagger stuff going on. But look, at the end of the day, we're all here to enjoy what we do. I just don't see the need to be negative. I don't see the need to argue. Share the knowledge, share the experiences. I don't want everyone to divulge their secret sauce recipes or anything like that. But if someone's asking for some help, surely we can just reach out and say, hey, look, man, this is what I did. Don't have to tell him your secrets. Jeff Parker is one of those guys that will happily give you some guidance. I saw Uncle Mungo doing a sauce video. Was it last night? That stuff's gold. Like, if people are just thinking about getting into sauce making, they might not want to become a commercial operation, but they might want to make their own stuff.
And I've got to say, Uncle Mungo's stuff is legit. Wow. I wanted to make a comment here. I thought at first that the COVID-19 sauce was just a gimmick, but then I tried it, and holy shit, there is layers to the flavor of that sauce. Yes, it's fucking hot, but dude, the flavor is just wow. It blows your fucking mind because there's layers to the heat. It gives you this initial burn where you're like bang, and then you're like cool, and then it grows and builds as we're in the heat and the flavor. So it's so silky and velvety for a sauce. So everything about the sauce was pleasing to me, and that's why I've got to congratulate. Look, dude, awesome sauces, and for what I thought was just a gimmick, it wasn't a gimmick. It's an awesome sauce. The texture, everything about it, I loved it. So, when at first I didn't know anything about Uncle Mungo's sauces, dude's made me a fan. I did a review on it. I've loved it ever since, So, Tom Russell, what are you doing? Keep doing it. Yeah.
Keep going, man. Like, the guy's a legend too. Like, I've asked him for some help on other bits and pieces outside of Chile, and he's been the first. Yeah, man, this is where he goes. As you got to speak to. It's just gold. And that's what we need. Like, and there's, like I said, I see the stuff going in these pages, and you sit and go, why do we have to be like that? Just be honest and open.
Right. Social politics.
Yeah. I've just got no time for it, eh? Like, I run a. Oh man, I've got one of the groups that I run at the moment, Brisbane Beekeepers. We've got a couple of older guys on there that are dueling it out at the moment. I've given them their first warning. And they're still going. And I said, guys, you want to behave like this, find somewhere else to do it. You keep going. You're not welcome here.
Yeah, that's right. And look, that's what I wanted to say is we here at Burnin Bites, I'm sure Mr. Chili probably still feels the same thing. We're pretty neutral to things, unless you're an actual problem, you're going to get kicked out if you do actually do something about something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I don't want to choose people over other people, especially when it comes to companies and flavors and sauces.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing I keep thinking is, that song, "Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?" Yeah, something like that.
Well, if you can't be friends, at least respect people.
Yeah,
Just
that's
show
right.
courtesy and respect. I mean, not everyone's going to get along. Not everyone's going to agree. Fine. Have a healthy debate about it. Don't be disrespectful.
Or be constructive. Don't just be a dick.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe say something that's factual or investigate what you're saying to someone before you just say stupid childish shit.
Yeah, but the thing is, for all the ones you have, like you sit there and shake your head, we've got 10 people that are off the chart, man. Like, they're just the communities, both in the bee world and in the chili world. Seriously, we've got a great group here. We need to sort of, foster that and show them what we can do.
Foster all the good eggs. All right, well, let's get off that topic. Let's go into something a bit more fun. Show me the next. I want to see the next level of this thing. That you've got
this one here.
The 4 horsemen. Oh, geez. That sounds pretty deadly. And I don't even think that's the hottest heat yet, is it?
No, we've got one more.
Oh,
one more. The next one is off, mate. I won't even taste it. I refuse.
Fair enough. All right. Well, look, something I wanted to ask is there's a bit of a rumor, and I wanted to know if you could quell this rumor for me, or if there's any just sort of truth to it. There's a rumor that different bees make different honeys, as in you get different bees will make different flavors. Are there different bees that make different flavors? Are there different like sweet sugar levels, whatever? Is there different colors, there different variations because of different bees or different areas or whatever like that? Tell me a bit more about that, mate.
Okay, so yes and no. Yes, there are different honeys produced. So European honeybees, which are the bees that primarily produce the honey that we all eat, produce honey based on the flora that they're feeding on. Native Australian bees produce a completely different flavor of honey, completely different viscosity, even though they might be feeding on the same plants.
Right. Okay. So you're saying it's to do with what they're digesting, or to do with what it is that they're feeding on, that's gonna have a direct impact on the flavor and the texture and what the honey is going to turn out like. Is that what you're saying there?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So it depends on what's flowering at the time.
Yeah, and so is there anything that you've noticed in your experience that with the vegetation or the things that they're feeding on that create the largest variances in flavors and textures and things like that?
Tea tree for me, it goes like most eucalypt honey is very light, very golden, very sweet. I mean, there are different profiles like yellow box, grey gum, all that kind of stuff. It's all subtly different. But tea tree it's almost, the honey can almost be black, and it will be very malty. It'll be very rich and deep flavored, and it's seriously, either love it or you hate it.
Wow, so it sounds a bit like Guinness beer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. And so is there any sort of, like, with that being said, is there any sort of plants, like it sounds like bees will have a certain proximity that they'll fly around to gather their pollen or their what that is that feeds that honey. Is there certain plants or trees or things that you go, nah, that's a no-go, this needs to be removed the fuck now because my honey will taste like shit?
Yeah, there's a few going around. Monkey vine's one for me. I don't know the actual scientific name, but if you see it, I've moved my bees. I won't have them anywhere near it. The honey produces almost like dirty, smelly socks, and it tastes like dirty, smelly socks.
Wow.
I've got a list in my book that is stuff and photos. Look, and I'll be the first person to say I'm not a great identifier of flora. That's where I rely on other beekeepers to show me what is good and what's not so good. When I start spending more time in this, we'll spend a bit more time identifying flora. But I know where my bees are, what to look for and what not to look for. But monkey vine is certainly one of them that I'll just not put my bees anywhere near it.
Okay, right. Wow. And can you tell us, for us non-flora honey heads, what does this monkey vine stuff look like?
It's like it's very much almost like a cat's claw. It just crawls over everything and suffocates trees and everything else. It becomes like a wild vine. It's very intrusive, and it's got like a white flower. It's kind of hard to explain. If you Google it, you can find it.
Yeah. So it sounds a little bit similar like to Singapore daisy, where it's just strangling the fuck out of stuff. And you said it's got a white flower that's easier to identify as well. Sounds like a real prick. Yeah, okay. And that Singapore daisy has a very unique sort of honey, not honey, milky kind of smell. So it sounds like this monkey thing or whatever. It sounds crap and annoying
But
as
the
well.
bees love it. The bees love it.
Yeah, fair call. All right, mate. Well, look, I'm going to delve into this next bit, but Bazza's got something here. Wait, what's going on, Bazza? Hey, what? Thanks, buddy. What? See ya. All right. Bazza's got some questions I've got for you. So normally I finish an interview with fuzzy facts or crock or not with my interviews, buddy. But because we're on Mr. Chili and we're talking all things honey, I decided to throw some different things at you to do with your world, and I'm called it Buzzy Facts. Right?
Oh, geez, questions without notice. This could be interesting.
Yeah. So I wanted to test you and see a little bit what about you know, and I wanted to talk to sort of delve into the honey world for people that don't know anything. So I've done a little bit of research, not heaps. You know, so I don't know everything.
God. This
definitely don't know
really
everything.
Bad for me.
I don't know whether this will be embarrassing or not for you. But show us the last chili bit of those 3 stings. I heard this one's really notorious. It's Death Incarnate. Now, tell me about this Death Incarnate. Why is it called Death Incarnate?
Because I just won't taste it. It's pretty much a pure. They were talking before about the infusions that we've got. It's pure with no honey added, with extract added. And this has 2 sides. People love it or I'm not going to like it. It's got pure capsaicin crystal in it.
Right. Shit. And so I've heard a rumor that capsaicin crystals are inert unless you dilute them with a bit of alcohol or something like that. Is that right? How does that? How do you do that?
Yeah. I've basically been able to secure pure ethanol and then blend it. We've got a friend of ours, an industrial chemist, so he's been able to. You
get a special batch later on. You're like,
yeah.
Okay.
So it's and again we only look seriously that stuff. We probably won't open it to the public. It'll be strictly for chili heads who we know and who appreciate what heat is. It's not going to be available to public.
I've played with your previous products from 3STINGS, so I'm a huge advocate of that. I remember you saying I wouldn't touch this if you don't like chili. Like, I know why. All right, now here's a question for you before we get into this Buzzy Facts thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time, to put a little bit more pressure on everyone or on our guests, and myself usually included, what we usually do is get the guests to try something really hot beforehand. Are you willing to just the end of a toothpick, tiny little bit, it doesn't have to be Death Incarnate, but one of those ones, whack it on your tongue, and then we'll grill you some questions about honey, mate.
Oh,
what do you reckon? Put you on the spot. I put you on the spot. He's like, he's like, damn it, I got a bit of my own medicine. Shit.
All right.
What are you gonna go? What are you gonna go? Let's see. What's this one?
4 Horsemen.
4 Horsemen. All right. Oh, I'm so keen to try this. So once you do this today, I'm going to know exactly how you feel because I'm going to try it as soon as you send it to me too.
Oh, yes. I can't tell you. I haven't actually even had dinner yet, so this could be real interesting.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll try and delve into these questions real quick for you, Matty, so that way you don't suffer too much. And that way you can get the din-dins cracking soon. All right, mate. Well, you tell us when you're ready. All right, so Buzzy Facts. 3, 2, 1. All right. Question. Oh, no, he's already rocked his world already.
Oh, my God.
So, first question, Jason. A single honeybee can collect 1/12 of a teaspoon in their lifetime. True or false?
True.
That's right. It's true, Matty. All right. Second question. All bees sting. True or false?
False.
That's right, mate. So, third question. There are 10 native Australian bees that are stingless. True or false?
True.
That's right. That's true. And I'm thinking, you're like, yes, I'm going to play with those. All right. Fourth question. I know you're burning right now. Sorry, buddy. Definitely not. Australia's smallest native bee is Cape York's minute Quasihesma bee. It's less than 4 millimeters long. Is that true or false?
Oh, I've never heard of it, never seen it. I know the TC and the AAs are very similar, so I'd have to say true.
It's actually false. It's less than 2 millimeters long. It is tiny. 2 millimeters. It's tiny. All right, mate. Fifth question. Bees are the only insects that create a food that humans eat. True or false?
True.
That's right. It's true.
True.
All right. There's 500 native Australian species of bees in Australia.
Oh, Christ. I'm going to... false.
Mr. Chili said put the whole thing in your mouth.
No.
He doesn't want to cry.
No.
Okay. What was that? True or false? Was it?
I said false.
That's right.
It'd be up there.
There's actually over 1,700 species
Yeah.
of bees in Australia alone. Crazy. All right. Now, next question. It's number 7. We're only going to go 10. So, not all bees are yellow. Native bees can be many different colors, including black, yellow, red, metallic green, or even black with blue polka dots.
True.
True or false?
True.
That's right.
The blue
That's
polka dot part. Yeah. Blue banded bee. Yep.
Yeah, true. That's right. Go Blues. Doug Martin says. All right. Pure honey was found in 2,000-year-old Egyptian pyramids and was still edible. True or false?
Correct. 100%.
100%. That's right. Because it lasts for a really long time. Is that right?
Honey does not go off as long as you keep a lid on it.
Doesn't go off as long as you keep a lid on it. Bam. All right. 2 more to go.
Fuck, I should have taken the lid off that chili. Holy shit.
1/20th of our global food supply is pollinated by bees. True or false?
I am going to say true, but I actually think it's higher.
It's false. It's actually 1/3 of our global food supply is pollinated by bees. Yeah. Yeah.
It's one. Yep. Okay. I've got my thoughts on that, but yep. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well,
correctly, you're right. Google's right. Yes. 1/3.
Google says it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it must be true.
Last question, Matty. I'm sure you're burning here, so you want to get this over and done with. Okay. Last question. Australian honeybees' main threats that they face are pollution, pesticides, disease, and intensive agriculture. Is that true or false?
Can I say true with a caveat?
Sure. Go for it.
They also face incursion potentially of biosecurity through varroa destructor, which we've been managing not to have on our shores.
What is that?
It's a little mite that attaches itself to a bee through its development, and it can affect, like America, it's the cause of colony I'm having trouble talking.
These are those
colony
things.
Collapse.
They're nicknamed killer bees, aren't they?
That's the Africanized bees. These things are just a little bug that attaches itself to a bee, and it affects their development. It affects their development.
All right, fair enough. And so look, I want to congratulations for making it through and having a good burn here on the Burn and Bite Chili. Look, I want to give you 60 seconds to say anything you've got going on in the future that's coming up that you want to say about Be All Natural, you want to say about 3STINGS, or you want to say about beekeeping and honey in general. It's a bit of a message to the people out there to just sort of keep going.
Look, I'll probably take the time now to sort of talk about why we got our award for the ambassadorship for the honey industry. It's about supporting local, buy local, get out to the farmers, get to meet them, know where your food comes from. Yeah, there are a lot of farmers, not just in Queensland, but New South Wales, Victoria, across Australia that are struggling. That can be commercial guys. It can also be your backyarders. It can also be your veggie gardens. People selling stuff on the side of the road. Support them, because a lot of these people, that's their income. If we don't support them, they'll disappear, and then you'll be left with no choice but to go to the supermarket and buy your mass-produced fruit and veg. Support your local beekeeper. I mean, always come to me at beingallnatural.com.au. But if you can't, support your local beekeeper. Get out there, get to meet them, get to know where the honey comes from. And if you're ever in Queensland and in Brisbane, you want to come out and have a chat to me, I'll talk your ears off about honey. And if you're game and I've got time, I might even throw you in a bee suit and go out there and have a look at the bees ourselves.
And anything you want to say to the chili heads?
I don't know why you guys do it.
I thought you were going to say with your new range, you just had to go, "You're back, baby." Wow.
No, look, guys, keep doing what you're doing. There's a lot of great people out there. There's a lot of great sources out there. I have to say a big thank you again to Adrian Zaccaro. Again, without him, 3STINGS wouldn't exist. My wife for putting up with the crap that I give out as far as leaving honey everywhere through the kitchen on handles. Working all hours of the night. It's running a business, working 9 to 5, and having a family. It like you said, there's a lot of plates in the air. But look, we do it because we love it, and I love it because we do it.
100%. So Mr. Chili just said, well done. Look, the last thing I want to say is, because this is obviously what you told me before, we are getting these 3STINGS, guys. We're going to get that 3STINGS range in very soon to Burn and Bites. You're going to see some crazy challenges that Chili Philly is going to be popping up and doing very soon with it. And unfortunately, I know you're really burning. You want to get the hell out of here, so I'll make it really quick. But very soon, Burn and Bites fans, Mr. Chili fans, you're going to see some people get set the hell up. We're going to have some fun, some crazy time, some silliness, and some really challenging stuff. So, look, I'll let you get out of there, Jason. You have an awesome night. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, matey. and have a good one, and enjoy the burn.
No worries. Hey, and look, thanks to Mr. Chili too, because without him, Mr. Chili Awards wouldn't exist. We need that sort of outlet to showcase everyone's sort of abilities and their products. So,
Bloody hell, guys.
yeah, a lot of hard work goes into it.
100%. Good on you, Mr. Chili. And he says, well done to you too, buddy. All right, mate. Well, I'll let you go. You have a good night, and good luck with dinner. Hopefully that helps it go down. Makes the medicine go down. See you, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye. All right, Spice Legends. Thank you very much, Honey Freaks, and all you legends over there. I have to say thank you for joining us tonight. If you're watching the video later on, thank you for checking it out and viewing this one. For seeing Mr. Chili, for tuning in for Burning Bites and watching Chili Philly, and for watching this very special Be All Natural with Jason ROEBIG. So for now, guys, all I have to say is keep calm, be awesome. See you later, guys.